What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev here, and I'm here with Josh Warren from Milsim West. Say, what's going on, Josh?
What's up, guys?
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Milsim West, and everything that you take part of?
Sure. My name's Josh Warren. I've been an event promoter since 2006 when I got out of the Army. I currently work as a promoter with the brands Milsim West, which is like a super hardcore, full immersion military simulation experiential event. And I am the production manager of events for Desert Fox Airsoft events, which is a casual 3-day gaming event that uses a smartphone app to guide play towards objectives and count respawn tickets and that sort of thing. And that is what I do. So I'm an airsoft promoter. I've been doing it since 2006. Like I said, when I got out of the military, my favorite type of game to promote is definitely 40-hour, full immersive, total weekend military simulation war game thing. But I do enjoy working in all kinds of different airsoft. I've worked in arenas, I've worked at fields, I've worked as a regional promoter, a local promoter, and now a national and international promoter. I've been doing this probably starting as an amateur in 2006 till about 2013 or so. And I'd say I've been doing it as a professional since about 2014.
So would you say, like, Milsim West, well, you as a whole, like, you have so much experience with promoting events that it's just like easy for you?
I mean, it's not easy. I probably wouldn't like doing it if it was easy. You know, some events are easier than others, but me personally, I'm the kind of person that if one thing about the event is easy, then I'm going to try and push myself harder in other areas, you know, just because I know, okay, you know, say the admin portion of the event is going to be easier to run, so maybe I'm going to try and put more of my effort into the tactical portion of the event. For example, this event I just did in West Virginia at Panthera Training, pretty easy venue to work with. It's pretty secure, doesn't require a lot of admin support. So I was able to actually make myself the Russian commander for that game and like put my efforts more into making the game good. So that's typically how I approach it. As far as the difficulty of the job, I mean, obviously there's days I don't even get out of my underwear, pretty much just sit in front of my keyboard all day, make people mad in various airsoft forums, direct them towards various ticket sales links.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes it is hard, like, you know, as I was telling you, like before we started rolling, about every year there's some sort of a crisis where I lose venue. There's a global pandemic that makes people not want to go to, you know, in-person outdoor events. I got to find a different insurance because, you know, whichever provider I had doesn't want to write airsoft policies anymore. You know, the list goes on. So I'd say it's harder than other jobs in some ways, but definitely the benefits make up for it.
Gotcha. How has like running these events benefited you? How's, like, you know, after the military joining Airsoft, how has that benefited you and like mental, physical, spiritual, any type of way?
Sure. I mean, I would say, you know, so a lot of people like to make this correlation between like military service and airsoft as like a therapeutic thing. And I mean, they may or may not be wrong. I don't really know, you know, but I would say since this is basically my career, you know, this is what I've been doing. This is the longest I've done anything in my life professionally. You know, definitely just having some sort of thing that you're excited about that drives your life forward, like, you know, is going to be positive for you. And I think maybe the thing that kept me going all those years working as an amateur is I looked forward to every event. And sometimes when times were bad, that was like the reason to keep going, right? It was like, oh, everything's so bleak, but I got this thing in 6 weeks that's going to be cool, you know, so I'll keep going for that. And also for me, just like, this is, you know, really a dream job. I mean, I'm very lucky to be able to just do this, right? To just focus on hosting events. I mean, I host about 15 to 20 events a year in a normal non-pandemic year. So I stay pretty busy employed, you know, with that. And, you know, it certainly, I mean, like 8 years ago or so, I was a janitor. That was my only job. I was like 31 and I was a janitor. And now it's like, I go on vacation when I want. I take my family if I want. I can get things for my family. I can support my family. You know, 8 years ago, I couldn't do any of that shit. So it's also enriched my life in that way. Like, I just have a career that's meaningful, that I really enjoy, that also enriches me, you know? And so that's what I say it's done for me. You know what I mean? But it's more than a hobby for me. For a lot of people, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, for me, this is like a total passion project and a career.
And I think that I feel like that's great because a lot of people, everybody are coming into Airsoft. They're trying to be like, Jet, Leah, Alphonse. They're just trying to be like that next YouTube celebrity of some sort, making $1 million and
right.
signing autographs and all that stuff without realizing how much work it takes to get there.
Yeah. I mean, people forget, like, Jet's had that channel for 11 years. He's been playing Airsoft for probably almost 20 years because he started before the military. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I've been hosting events since 2006 with Brian Clarkson, the other owner of Milsim West. So it's like, it wasn't like a straight A to B. And definitely the first 8 or so years of it was just like never getting paid, right? In fact, putting in this same level of effort, in some cases even more effort, because I only was doing it because I loved it. So, I would do all kinds of crazy shit to try and make the events better that, like, sometimes wasn't really sane, just like putting 700 hours of your own time into something that, like, you get $500 for is like.
I mean, but at the end of the day, you were happy with it, and that was your baby. That was your baby. Like,
well, what I mean is it's unsustainable, right?
Yeah,
how much
it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It really
like, how long can you do that for before cracks start to form in the surface, and like, people start to not appreciate what you're doing enough anymore, and you start to feel like it's a job. And so
and that's the thing. You never want it to feel like it's a job. It's something you enjoy that you got into. And I guess the next point. When you post on forums, I enjoy when you post on forums, and
I enjoy when I post on forums
because it's the funniest thing. People get so upset.
I know.
They either get so upset they tag you in other stuff, and it's like I feel like a lot of these people have not experienced Milsim West. And
usually I don't think I've really been trolled by people. Well, I mean, typically I don't really get trolled that much, at least by people that go to my events. And that's mostly because at the end, I'll let you tell me, like, whatever you thought you didn't like for an hour. I just sit there and I take, and not like how you think your squad did. Like, I'm the promoter, you tell me what you didn't like, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't be shy. Like, if you thought it was great, I'll usually when people have a compliment for the event or what we call like a sustain, I'll just kind of preempt it and be like, all right, show of hands, who else liked this? Okay, great, let's move on. Like, give me something that was bad.
Yeah.
Like, what can I fix? And I find that if, even if it's something I can't fix, and maybe the complaint the customer has, like, oh, I was shooting my blank fire and some people weren't calling it. It's like, well, there's only so much I can do for you, man. Like, the rule book doesn't even say they have to call it. It just says they have to react as if it is real. So it's like, hey man, so I don't want to insult you in front of everybody, but like, hey, maybe revisit what the rules say, and like, sorry, and like, hey, everybody, call your blank hits, play fair, play nice, right? Like, what else can I do for you? But even then, at least people feel like they got heard.
Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like people do not do enough research on Milsim West to understand what the experience is about. It's like there's so many videos out there, there's so many how-tos and what to do and X, Y, and Z.
I'd say a fair portion of people do. Like maybe 50% of newcomers will be pretty well informed, because there is, we've been doing Milsim West for a while now, so there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of videos you can watch. We've got our own material out there that you can look at, that's going to tell you what you need. But then, the other 50% of the people that I'm like, I'm at the gear check, and I'm like, no, you absolutely have to have a sleeping bag. And they're like, well, no, I don't think I really do. And I'm like, yeah, so it's going to be like 38 degrees tonight. So like, you need a sleeping bag, man. Like that's, I know you don't think that's a problem, but like, it's going to be a problem for you, and it's going to be a problem for me, because I'm going to have to come get you and take you back to the car and find your friend Steve that you drove here with, and then we're going to have to get him and drive him back to the car, and then he's going to unlock the car, and then you guys are going to have an awkward conversation where he's kind of like, I don't really want you to drive my car, but you can sleep in my car in the parking lot until I'm done. But like, there's no cheeseburgers for you. And then I'm like, does anyone need an ambulance? Right. So people don't really see that.
Yeah.
And it's about half and half.
Okay.
I mean, probably the same as any other event you would see, where like half the people that go are like sort of on the program, and half the people are just like, me and my boys are getting some kills. Like, they don't really give a fuck, right? Or they're like the lone wolf. They're like, oh,
yeah,
like they got
yeah. I mean, when I went with Dials 46, Nigel, and we were sleeping, and it's like there was a firefight happening at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I'm like, hey, are we gonna go out there? He's like, no, they're not gonna come in. I'll block the door. They can't push me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep, right back in the sleeping bag. I was like, all right, I guess it is what it is. So I mean, I enjoyed. I enjoyed my experience. I feel like everybody should go at least once just to get the full immersive experience and to LARP.
Sure.
Literally, you go out there to LARP and have fun.
Yeah,
just
totally.
Chat it up with people. But I mean,
it's non-competitive, that's for sure.
Yeah. So do you think that Milsim West is a premier airsoft event company, and why?
I don't think we're the premier airsoft event company because I don't really think Milsim West is an airsoft company. I think it's a Milsim Wargaming event company. Do I think it's premier that? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Like, that's not even my opinion. That's just objectively true.
Gotcha.
Like, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I mean, nobody else has anything that goes that distance, that has that ratio of staff to player, that has that level of, like, I guess, I mean, realism is part of it. You know what I mean? Challenge, realism, like all these things that, you know, chain of command, like the rule system, just all of it, as far as like simulating military engagement, simulating being part of a military unit. Yeah, man, I don't think anybody, like, pretty much other events that are marketed as Milsim are basically airsoft games where you go back to the parking lot like every 4 to 8 hours. You know? Yeah, and like most people couldn't carry any of their stuff, and you know, there's almost no incentive to follow the chain of command, and usually there's points. So, you know, it's like, by that metric, absolutely, you know, no one can touch it. And that's, I'm not even like, I am arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying, like, at this point, we've got 50 plus dudes in our cadre group. You know, we've got a production team of 7 people. We've produced across 2 continents. You know, like, we're doing 15 to 20 games a year between the 2 organizations. Like, you know, I mean, your other big names, it's like they do like 6 to 7 games a year, and that's it. And it's a part-time job for most of them.
Yeah.
So that's not even a knock. That's just like, yeah, definitely. You know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm sure there's other metrics, and I could definitely brag for a minute, but
yeah, no, I get.
Yeah, man. Like,
no, I get you. I get you on that. So
yeah, I mean, like, we got featured in the New York Times and like a full page ad that was like basically entirely positive. You know, I mean, I don't think there's another promotion that could have got that kind of exposure in such a positive light, to be honest.
That's awesome. So that New York Times ad, let's talk about that on the next episode. So
sure.
Guys, we're going to close this out. I'll catch you guys in part 2 with Josh Warren from Milsim West.